In the Iron Circle Arena of Las Vegas, a young and loud boxing star was about to turn a fun charity match into a big show all about himself. What was supposed to be a friendly boxing event suddenly got serious when a quiet hero was challenged. Sylvester Stallone wasn't just any famous guest. For over 20 years, he was one of the best fighters in the world. He was a 6-time karate champion who changed how people fight with calm focus and smart moves. Ramy Blitz Morales was a young, undefeated boxer who loved showing off. He had millions of fans and liked to make everything flashy. He didn't know that by yelling at Sylvester Stallone in front of everyone, he was picking a fight with someone who didn't need to shout to be strong. Sylvester answered him with calm and quiet moves that would soon teach everyone a big lesson. What started as a funny show would become something people would never forget. After tonight, the fight world would never be the same, because Sylvester Stallone was about to show the true meaning of strength. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from. And if you like this story, make sure you follow, because tomorrow we have something super special just for you. The Iron Circle Arena in Las Vegas was full of loud, happy people. Bright lights shined all around, and the crowd was excited. The announcer's voice boomed from the speakers, making everyone cheer even louder. Tonight's boxing event brought in lots of celebrities, internet stars, and fight fans from all over the country. Everyone came to see Ramy Blitz Morales fight and keep his winning streak going. "Ladies and gentlemen," said Marcus Lane with his deep voice from the announcer's booth high above the ring, "welcome to Fight Night for Futures. Tonight, great boxers are raising money to help kids all over America." Next to him, Maya Lin fixed her headset and tapped on her tablet. She was 28 years old and part of the new group of sports reporters. She liked quick stories and videos that could go viral online. "Quite the show tonight, Marcus," she said, pointing to the tunnel where fireworks were getting ready. "Ramy's entrance probably cost more than most fighters earn in a year." Marcus leaned back in his chair. He had been a fighter for 20 years and an announcer for 15. He didn't get fooled by all the fancy stuff. Back in the day, fighters let their fists do the talking, he said, looking toward the VIP section. There, sitting quietly, was Sylvester Stallone. He wore a simple black shirt and jeans. He didn't wave at cameras or try to get attention like the others. He just sat calmly, nodding kindly at fans who walked by. Next to him sat Ben Delroy, with silver hair and big shoulders. He kept watching the arena like a guard. "Sylvester Stallone," Marcus said softly, 6-time karate world champion, movie star, and one of the most disciplined fighters ever. Maya looked surprised. "My dad had posters of him when I was little. I didn't know he still came to these events." "He usually doesn't," Marcus said. "That's why tonight is already special." The lights went dark, and the crowd screamed with excitement. Smoke came from the entrance tunnel. Loud music shook the whole arena. Through the fog came Ramy Blitz Morales, 25 years old, undefeated, and smiling big. He loved the crowd's cheers. His shiny robe sparkled with crystals and had his logo on the back. Cameras flashed everywhere. "Ramy Blitz Morales makes his big entrance," Maya said loudly. 27 wins, no losses, 19 knockouts, and millions of fans. "He'll be fighting Miguel Steady Santos," Marcus added. "Let's see if the older fighter's experience can beat Ramy's speed." Leo jumped into the ring and took off his robe, showing off his strong muscles for the cameras. He bounced around and threw pretend punches at his cheering fans. His coach, Terry Bronson Mercer, stood in the corner. The coach didn't smile. His eyes looked around the ring, like someone ready for trouble. On the other side, Miguel Santos stood still. He was 36, and his body had scars from many hard fights. He had a slightly bent nose and tough hands. He made a small prayer and closed his eyes. In the crowd, Sylvester Stallone sat quietly. He didn't cheer. He just watched closely, like someone who knew what was really happening. "Ben," Sylvester said softly for the first time that night. "That young man has real skill, underneath all that showing off." Ben leaned in to hear him. "Too bad he doesn't realize it yet." The bell rang. Ding. The fight had started. Leo rushed forward like a rocket, punching fast. Miguel tried to block, but Ramy hit him with a storm of punches. Left jab, right punch, left hook, all super fast. "Morales is going full speed," Marcus said. "That's how he fights. He overwhelms them early." Miguel tried to block and move, but Leo kept coming. His footwork showed he had trained hard, even if he liked to show off. Halfway through the round, Leo hit Miguel with a hard right hook. Miguel stumbled back. The crowd cheered. But instead of following up, Leo turned to the crowd with his arms out. "You tired already, old man?" he shouted. Miguel's eyes narrowed. His pride made him fight back too fast. Leo dodged easily, then hit Miguel with a big uppercut. Amazing counterpunch by Morales. Maya said, typing notes for her article. Marcus didn't look happy. It was smart, but all that showboating isn't needed. The round went on. Leo switched between real fighting and showing off. When Miguel hit him with a body punch, Leo made a funny face for the cameras. When Miguel was trapped in the corner, Leo even looked at Sylvester before throwing his punches. "He's performing, not fighting," Sylvester said quietly. Ben nodded. Near the end of the round, Leo tricked Miguel by pretending to punch one way, then hit him with a loud right hook to the ribs and a fast left to the jaw. Miguel fell hard to the floor. The referee waved his arms. The fight was over. Doctors ran in. Leo didn't wait for the win to be announced. He jumped around the ring, climbed the ropes, flexed his muscles, and blew kisses. The crowd screamed. Knockout in round 1. Maya said excitedly, "Leo Blitz Morales wins again." Marcus looked at Miguel, who was sitting up but dazed. "Let's hope he's okay. That was a hard hit." Leo kept celebrating. He took the microphone. "That's how it's done," he shouted. 28-0. Who's next? Who has the guts to face the Blitz? People chanted his name. Blitz. 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 The camera showed Sylvester Stallone in the crowd. He still hadn't moved. He wasn't happy or angry. Just calm. And that calmness stood out more than all the noise. Leo noticed. Even while celebrating, he saw Sylvester's calm face. It bugged him. He pointed at Sylvester. "Hey, Stallone." Leo yelled. "You just gonna sit there looking bored? Don't like how real fighters do it these days." The crowd gasped. Marcus sat up. Maya stopped typing. "Is he serious?" Maya asked. "He is," Marcus said, shocked. Leo kept going. "You made some fun movies, but this is real life. This is how fighting works in 2025. In the VIP section, Ben shifted in his seat, worried. But Sylvester put a calm hand on his shoulder. "You want to try your old kicks in a real fight?" Leo yelled. "I've got time tonight. Or are you too busy selling vitamins for old people?" Some people laughed. Some stayed quiet. Others started to chant slowly, "Sylvester. Sylvester. Sylvester." In the booth, Marcus took off his headset and sighed. "That kid has no idea what he's doing." Maya looked confused. "It's just for show, right?" Marcus shook his head, still watching Sylvester. "No. This is history." Down in the VIP section, Sylvester Stallone finally moved. He sat up straighter. He rolled his shoulders. Just that small movement got more attention than Leo's whole entrance. "Sylvester," Ben said, nervous. "You don't have to do this." Sylvester spoke softly but clearly. Some lessons can only be taught in the language the student understands. Sylvester stood up slowly. Every move was careful and calm. The chanting got louder. "Sylvester. Sylvester. Sylvester." Leo smiled, but some people near him noticed something in his eyes. A tiny bit of fear, hidden behind his smile. "Well, look at that." Leo shouted. "The legend stands up. You serious, old man? You really want to fight me?" Sylvester didn't speak. He just walked toward the ring. That walk said everything. The crowd moved aside. Phones were up. Some laughed, but others went quiet. They knew something big was about to happen. "Ladies and gentlemen," Marcus said, voice full of meaning, "we are about to see something amazing. Sylvester Stallone is walking into the ring." Maya looked shocked. "Is that even allowed?" "He's not on the schedule, he's not." "He's Sylvester Stallone," Marcus said. And that young man just made the biggest mistake of his life. As Sylvester walked to the ring, the big crowd got very, very quiet. It was so quiet you could hear the air conditioner up above. Sylvester took off his watch and gave it to Ben. He didn't say anything. He only looked at Leo, who was already standing in the middle of the ring, holding a microphone. Leo, who usually looked so confident, now looked a little nervous. Sylvester was quiet. Leo was loud. Sylvester was older. Leo was younger. They were very different. And deep down, not even Leo really believed he was ready for what was about to happen. The silence didn't last long. Suddenly, the crowd got super loud. Everyone stood up and held their phones high to record the moment. People felt something special was happening. Leo Blitz Morales stood in the middle of the ring. He still had the microphone in his hand. His smile wasn't so strong now because Sylvester was staring at him without blinking. "What's going on?" a fan yelled from the top seats. "Is this real?" That's what everybody was thinking. Even the people running the show looked surprised. Staff were talking fast, and the security guards didn't know what to do. They looked at Sylvester as he came closer. In the TV booth, a woman named Maya Lin was typing fast on her tablet. "Marcus, this isn't in the plan," she said. "Forget the plan," Marcus said. He was watching very closely. "In 40 years of watching fights, I've learned that the biggest moments aren't planned." Sylvester stepped onto the ring stairs. He still hadn't said a word. He didn't look at the cameras or the fans. He only looked at Leo. Leo moved his feet nervously, trying to look cool. "Hey, someone get this guy some gloves," Leo said loudly. "Unless you're scared, old man." Behind him, his coach, Terry Bronson Mercer, walked up and put a hand on Leo's shoulder. "Leo," he said quietly, "stop talking." Terry Bronson looked very worried. He didn't see Sylvester as just a movie star. He remembered him as the great fighter who changed the way people did martial arts. Terry Bronson saw how calm Sylvester was, and he knew that calm came before something big. "What?" Leo said, shrugging Terry Bronson off. "It's good for the fans." Terry Bronson grabbed him tighter. "You don't know who you're messing with." But Leo didn't listen. The lights, the cheers, the cameras made him feel like nothing could go wrong. He raised the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he shouted, "looks like we've got a surprise match tonight. Does the old legend still have it, or is he just pretending to be tough?" Sylvester stopped at the bottom of the stairs. Slowly and calmly, he rolled up his sleeves. His arms were still strong, even though he was over 70 years old. Still, he said nothing. In the VIP seats, Ben stood holding Sylvester's watch. His face showed he was worried, but also proud. A young woman with a clipboard ran up to him. "Sir, this match isn't allowed," she said. "He's not on the list." "You should call your boss," Ben said gently, "because nothing's going to stop what's about to happen." At the TV booth, Maya asked a worker, "Is this part of the show? Is it a trick?" The worker shook her head. "No one told us anything. This isn't part of the plan." Marcus took off his headset and stood up. "I need to be closer," he said quietly. "You don't watch history from far away." Near the ring, people who ran the show huddled together, pointing and talking fast. Leo saw them. He felt like his chance to shine was slipping away. "Hey, if you're scared, just say it." Leo shouted at Sylvester. "No shame in getting old. Go back to selling toys." The crowd gasped. Even Leo's fans didn't like that. Ben took a step forward, but Sylvester, now at the top of the stairs, gave him a tiny hand sign, "Stay back." Sylvester's face didn't change, but his eyes. They focused sharply, like a camera getting ready to take the perfect picture. Terry Bronson whispered, but it sounded like a prayer. "Leo." Leo thought Sylvester was scared. He smiled again and said, "Don't worry. I'll go easy on you. Gotta protect that famous face." Behind him, Terry Bronson closed his eyes, then stepped away. He knew this couldn't be stopped anymore. Sylvester entered the ring. He ducked through the ropes smoothly, like he had done it 1,000 times. He moved like a pro. Every step had a purpose. Nothing extra. When Sylvester stood in the ring, the whole place felt different. The air felt heavier. He faced Leo. Sylvester was a little shorter, but somehow he seemed bigger. Leo held the microphone toward him. Got any last words? Maybe a movie catchphrase. Sylvester looked at the mic, then into Leo's eyes. When he finally spoke, his voice was soft but strong. I'm not here to talk. That quiet answer made the whole place feel serious. Phones went down. People looked at each other. This wasn't just a fun show anymore. This was real. Leo tried to keep smiling. He tossed the mic away. Okay, actions over words. Let's do this, legend. A man from the show came into the ring. If this is real, we have to follow the rules. Mr. Stallone, you need gloves. No gloves, Sylvester said. But the rules. No gloves, Sylvester said again. He wasn't asking. The man looked around for help, but no one knew what to do. This had never happened before. Bare knuckle, Leo said, raising his eyebrows. Old school. I like it. He took off his gloves and gave them to Terry Bronson, who didn't look happy. Leo, Terry Bronson tried again. You don't understand. I've seen what this man can do. Relax, coach, Leo said. I got this. Terry Bronson stepped back. No, you don't, he whispered. At the TV booth, Marcus put his headset back on. His voice was serious. Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing a surprise match between Leo Blitz Morales and the legendary Sylvester Stallone. This was not planned. Maya leaned into her mic. For those just joining us, Sylvester Stallone entered the ring after Leo Morales said some strong words. Strong is putting it lightly, Marcus added. Sylvester doesn't talk much. He lets his skills speak. In the ring, Leo bounced on his toes and swung his arms. He looked like he was ready, but his eyes showed he wasn't so sure anymore. Sylvester stood still, calm, breathing steady, watching. No ref, no rules. Leo called out, trying to be funny. Or do you want to do this the proper way? Sylvester didn't answer. He walked to the middle of the ring. His hands were by his sides. His feet were just right. Balanced. Ready. No bell rang. No one said go. This wasn't a normal fight. This was something older. A challenge. Leo saw Sylvester wasn't going to talk, so he came closer too. He smiled, but not as big as before. Last chance to walk away, Leo said. Sylvester didn't answer. He just raised his hands in a different kind of fighting pose. Not boxing. Something more open. For someone who could be attacked from anywhere. Leo looked at Sylvester and for the first time, felt real doubt. Sylvester didn't look like a star. He looked like someone who really knew what he was doing. Leo did what he always did when he was unsure. He attacked. His first punch was super fast. It would have hit almost anyone. But not Sylvester. Sylvester didn't jump or duck big. He just wasn't there. He moved just enough. Before Leo could even think about it, Sylvester was standing still again. Calm. Leo frowned. Then he punched again. Jab, cross, hook. Very good punches. But they missed too. Sylvester kept moving just right. He blocked some, dodged some, and didn't get hit. The crowd, which was yelling at first, got quiet again. This wasn't a normal fight. This looked like a lesson. Leo kept trying. He punched faster, harder, but he couldn't hit Sylvester. Stand and fight. Leo finally yelled. He was mad. Sylvester didn't answer. He just stopped stepping back. He didn't move with fear. He moved with calm. Sylvester finally attacked. Just one hit. He used his hand to strike Leo's chest. It didn't look hard, but Leo stumbled back, gasping. He couldn't believe it. Sylvester stood still again, calm like before. In the TV booth, Marcus said, "That's what real skill looks like. That's power from knowing exactly what to do." Maya said, "He's barely moving. But Leo can't touch him." Because Sylvester isn't fighting Leo, Marcus said. He's fighting Leo's ego. Terry Bronson stood watching. He knew this would happen. The other trainers stood quiet. They knew they were watching something special. Ben came closer to the ring, still holding Sylvester's watch. He wasn't scared anymore. He looked proud. In the ring, Leo wiped blood from his lip. His smile was gone. His eyes looked hard. He searched for a weakness, but Sylvester didn't have one. Leo shouted and rushed forward. He threw a storm of punches. Hooks, uppercuts, crosses, very good hits. The crowd got loud again. Maybe Leo could win. Sylvester didn't dodge as much now. He blocked and moved just enough to stop getting hurt. He was learning how Leo moved. Then Leo threw a big punch at Sylvester's head. Sylvester moved. He blocked with one hand, pushed Leo back with the other, and then bam! Hit Leo's jaw with a fast, clean punch. It wasn't a big showy hit, but it was perfect. Leo stopped. His eyes blinked. He stepped back, touched his jaw. He saw blood on his hand. The crowd was silent again. The legend wasn't just a story. He was real. The young champion's eyes changed. He wasn't feeling proud anymore. Now he looked scared, like someone who might be losing. Was that just a lucky hit? He asked, walking in a circle, trying to feel brave again. Sylvester didn't answer. He just moved a little to stay in the right spot. His hand stayed up, his face stayed calm. He wasn't trying to beat Leo's pride anymore. He was letting Leo fight against himself. In the room above the ring, Marcus, the man talking on the TV, started to speak in a quiet, amazed voice. "This isn't just about strong punches," he said. "This is about how smart Sylvester is. He's not just stopping attacks. He's showing how fighting is really done." Maya, who had doubted Sylvester at first, now nodded slowly. "It's like they're speaking two different ways," she said. "Leo is yelling, but Sylvester is speaking clearly." "Exactly," Marcus said. "And Leo is learning fast." Down in the ring, the learning kept going. Leo, after feeling Sylvester's power, moved more carefully now. He pretended to punch. He made little moves to trick Sylvester. He tried everything he had learned to become champion. Sylvester saw it all and didn't waste any moves. He just stayed in the best spot every time, with calm and perfect steps. He didn't use too much energy. It was like a game of chess. Leo was trying so hard, breathing heavier with each move. But Sylvester stayed calm, breathing evenly, moving neatly. The people watching started to notice the change. They were quieter now. They came to see a fun fight, but they were watching something deeper, like watching a wise teacher showing how things should be done. Leo could feel things slipping away. He tried one last thing. He stepped back, opened his arms, and shouted to the crowd. "Is this all the big legend has? Just defense? I thought Sylvester Stallone was supposed to be dangerous." But his voice sounded tired. Some of Leo's fans clapped a little, but most of the crowd was quiet. They knew he was only pretending to be strong now. Sylvester didn't show any emotion, but he moved just a little, shifted his feet and hands in a tiny way. Most people didn't notice, but those who really knew fighting could see it. Everything had changed. Terry Bronson, Leo's coach, saw it right away. "Oh no," he said softly, turning his head. "Kid, I warned you." Leo thought Sylvester was hesitating, so he stepped in. "Come on, old man," he said. "Show me something. Or was it all just camera tricks?" He didn't finish his sentence. Sylvester moved. Not wildly like in movies, not like a sports fight. It was something different. Pure and simple. Sylvester took 2 small steps. He blocked Leo's punch easily. Then he hit 3 times, so smoothly it looked like one move. First, he pushed Leo's chest gently to make space. Then he punched his side, so Leo's arms went down. Then, with perfect timing, he punched Leo's jaw. Leo's head went back. His eyes looked empty. His knees bent. His body stopped listening to him. He didn't fall like in the movies. He just dropped. Like a puppet with its strings cut. Sylvester stepped back, hands still up, just in case. He was calm. Leo was on the floor, not moving. Everything went quiet. No one talked. No one moved. 10,000 people held their breath. Then the moment ended. Doctors rushed in. Terry Bronson jumped into the ring. The people in charge came in, trying to take control. In the middle of all this, Sylvester stood still. Calm, peaceful, quiet. He looked at Leo, not proud, not angry, just as someone who had taught a lesson. Leo began to wake up. Sylvester turned and walked to the edge of the ring. At first, the crowd was quiet. Then they started clapping. Then cheering. Not like they usually do, but like they had seen something true and special. Sylvester looked back once. Leo was sitting up, looking lost. Their eyes met. It was like a teacher and student. Then Sylvester stepped out of the ring and walked down the steps, slowly and calmly. Ben was waiting. He gave Sylvester back his watch. They didn't say anything. They didn't need to. They had known each other for a long time. As Sylvester walked through the crowd, people started chanting his name. Sylvester. 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 He didn't wave or smile big. He just nodded a little, not to celebrate winning, but to show he respected their cheers. Back in the room where the cameras were, Marcus and Maya didn't say anything. They just sat quietly. Sometimes, words aren't needed. Some moments say everything by themselves. This wasn't just a fight. It was more. It was two ideas crashing into each other. One idea was loud. The other was quiet. And the quiet one won. Behind the ring, in a hallway, everything was busy. People were running, talking into headsets, and getting medical stuff ready. But Sylvester and Ben walked slowly, like they were just enjoying a walk in the park. "You didn't have to do that," Ben said softly. "No," Sylvester replied. "I didn't." They understood each other. Sylvester didn't fight because he wanted to win. He did it to show something important. For others, not for himself. Reporters came running, trying to get a story. "Mr. Stallone, can we ask you something?" Sylvester didn't answer. He had already said everything he needed to say, in the ring. As they got to a quiet room, a young woman stood in front of them. "I'm Maya Lin," she said quickly. "I was in the booth and—" "No interviews," Ben said. But Sylvester gently put his hand on Ben's shoulder. "It's okay." He looked at Maya calmly. "Do you have a question?" Maya took a deep breath. "Why did you say yes to fight him? You didn't need to. You had nothing to prove." The hallway went quiet. Everyone listened. Sylvester looked at her kindly. "When someone keeps asking for a lesson," he said, "a teacher will show up." Before she could say more, Sylvester and Ben walked into the room. The door closed behind them. Maya stood still, holding her tablet. She knew she had just gotten something more special than a quick quote. She got the truth. Inside the room, Sylvester took off his nice shirt. Underneath was a simple black t-shirt. He looked at his hands, just a little red, and stretched his shoulders carefully. "They'll want a statement," Ben said, checking his phone. "Our team is already calling." Sylvester shook his head. Nothing to say. Ben smiled. "I thought so." He put his phone down. How did it feel, being back in the ring? Sylvester was quiet, thinking deeply. "Like riding a bicycle," he said at last. Then he smiled a little. "A very old bicycle." They both laughed. Someone knocked on the door. Ben opened it. It was Marcus, the announcer. His tie was loose and he looked serious. "Sorry to bother you," Marcus said. "They're trying to figure out what to do next. Leo's okay. Just some bruises. But he's asking for a real match. Says this one didn't count." Ben Sylvester led. "He's lucky he's still awake. He should take that and leave." Marcus smiled too. "That would be smart. But, for what it's worth, I've watched fights my whole life. What I saw tonight, it wasn't just skill. It was the truth." Sylvester nodded. A quiet thank you between two professionals. Marcus left, closing the door. Ben looked at Sylvester. "So will you give the kid a real match?" Sylvester sat in a chair slowly, like someone saving his strength. "I already did," he said. Far away, in another room, things were very different. Leo Morales sat on a table. He wouldn't lie down, even though the doctor told him to. His lip was cut. His face was starting to bruise. But what hurt most was inside his heart. He was angry. "I'm fine," he snapped, pushing away the doctor's flashlight. "I didn't get knocked out." Coach Terry Bronson stood in the corner, arms crossed. His face looked sad and tired. He had known this would happen. He had tried to stop it. "You need to let them check you," Terry Bronson said. "It's what we do after a knockout." "I didn't get knocked out," Leo said loudly. "I slipped. The floor was wet." Terry Bronson looked at the doctor. The doctor stepped back, letting Leo have his space. "Fine," the doctor said. "But you're not leaving until I check you." Terry Bronson walked over. He had known Leo for a long time. Since the beginning. He saw the talent. He saw the hunger. He taught him how to fight. But he couldn't teach him wisdom. Not yet. "What were you thinking?" he asked quietly. Leo looked angry. "I was thinking about my career. My name. Do you know what this moment does for my brand? The old man and the new champ. It's perfect for the cameras." Terry Bronson slowly shook his head. "That old man could have ended your career tonight. Forever," he said. "You're lucky he didn't." "Lucky?" Leo shouted. "That wasn't luck. He surprised me. It wasn't a real fight. No referee, no rules, no stopping." "Just stop," Terry Bronson said firmly. His one word cut through all of Leo's excuses. "You got taught a big lesson tonight by a man who has more self-control in his little finger than you've shown in your whole career." Leo's face turned red with anger. "I'm undefeated. 28 wins, no losses. I worked so hard to get here." 28-1, Terry Bronson corrected him quietly. "Yes, you worked hard on your muscles, your speed, and your power. But you never worked on the most important part." He tapped his head. "In here. That's where real champions are made." Leo looked away. He clenched his jaw and couldn't look at his coach. The room got really quiet. Outside the door, the sounds of the arena still buzzed. The crowd was loud. People were still talking about the fight. Social media was already full of videos and reactions. Then a young event worker peeked into the room. "Mr. Morales," she said, "the reporters want to talk to you. And the promoter wants to know if you really want a real fight with him." Terry Bronson stepped in front of Leo. "No. He's not giving any statements tonight. The doctor said so." "No statements," he repeated. "And no more fights. We're done for tonight." The worker nodded and left. Terry Bronson turned back to Leo and sighed. "Listen, kid. I know your pride is more hurt than your jaw right now. But you need to let this go. Learn from it. Grow from it." Leo narrowed his eyes. "So I should just accept being embarrassed? Let everyone say Sylvester Stallone beat me?" "No," Terry Bronson said, shaking his head. "I'm saying be honest. He did beat you. And you should be thankful for the lesson." Before Leo could say anything, the door opened again. Maya Lin walked in. She looked calm but also a little worried. "Sorry to interrupt," she said. "I just wanted to check if you're okay, Leo. And see if you have any comment about what happened out there." Leo sat up on the table. His training for talking to the media kicked in. He opened his mouth, ready to say something polite, maybe blaming unfair rules and promising to come back stronger. But Terry Bronson put a hand on his shoulder. "We were just talking about what Leo learned tonight," the coach said. The question hung in the air like a quiet challenge. Leo looked from his coach to the reporter. He knew this was a big moment. What he said now would shape how people remembered tonight. Outside in the hallway, staff were still working hard to clean up the mess from the surprise fight. The main event had changed. The audience had seen something no one expected. TV schedules were messed up. But still, something exciting was in the air, something real. Security guards walked Sylvester Stallone and Ben out a back way. They didn't want to deal with the press. But someone was waiting in the shadows. It was Marcus Lane, a commentator. He raised his hands to show he wasn't holding a camera. "Sorry for the surprise," Marcus said. "I just wanted a quick word. Not for the news." Sylvester looked at him calmly, then gave a small nod. "They're already talking about a real fight," Marcus said quietly. "Pay-per-view posters, interviews, millions of dollars." He looked at Sylvester's face, trying to see what he was thinking. But Sylvester stayed calm. "Just wanted to let you know what's coming." "Thank you," Sylvester said. "For what it's worth," Marcus added, "what I saw tonight wasn't just a fight. It reminded me of something we've lost in this sport. It's still here, Sylvester said. Just quieter than all the noise. Marcus nodded slowly. He understood. Will you do it? The rematch they want. Sylvester's face stayed calm, but his eyes showed deep belief. He didn't need to speak. His look gave the answer. There's no need. He got the message. It's up to him if he learns from it. Sylvester and Ben walked to their car. Marcus stayed in the parking lot, thinking about what he had just heard. This wasn't just a fight. It was a way of thinking. Inside, the crowd was leaving. But many people still talked excitedly about what they saw. Crew members packed up cameras and lights. Social media teams stared at screens, amazed by the huge number of views. In the broadcast booth, now empty, one screen still showed the ring. The place where something special had happened. The ring looked normal. But something had changed there forever. The moment Sylvester Stallone stepped into the ring, everything changed. It wasn't just a loud show anymore. It became something deeper, a meeting of two ways of thinking, two generations, two kinds of strength. Leo stood in the middle of the ring. He bounced on his toes. He still looked confident, but those watching closely saw his eyes. He was nervous. He knew this would be different. No referee, no rules, Leo shouted. Or do you want to do this the right way? Sylvester didn't answer with words. He just walked to the center of the ring. His hands were down. He didn't look mad or scared. He was just there, fully focused. In the broadcast booth, Marcus Lane spoke quietly. This is something we've never seen in modern fighting. No rules, no officials. Just real combat. Maya leaned in. Is this even allowed? We're past that now, Marcus said. This is something older than the rules. A challenge made and accepted. Terry Bronson stood with his arms crossed. His face showed he knew this was going to happen. He had tried to stop it. He failed. Now he could only watch. He whispered he should have listened. There was no bell, no signal to start. Just silence. 10,000 people held their breath. Leo didn't like the quiet. He moved first. He ran forward fast, throwing a jab. It was fast, strong, and perfect. But I missed it. Sylvester moved just a little. Not a big move. Just enough. He had trained for this for years. Before Leo could try again, Sylvester was already standing calmly, hands up, ready again. The crowd murmured. Leo looked confused but determined. He tried again. A fast combo jab, cross, hook. All missed. My God, Marcus whispered. It's like watching water move around a rock. Leo started to get frustrated. He tried harder. He added tricks and changed levels. Still, Sylvester stayed calm. He didn't waste energy. He read every move like a book. The crowd started to quiet down. They realized they weren't watching just a fight. They were watching art. Years of training turned into perfect movements. Leo, feeling the crowd slipping away from him, stepped back and yelled, "Is this all you got, legend? Just going to dodge all night?" Sylvester didn't change his face, but he moved just a little. Terry Bronson saw it and closed his eyes. "Now it begins," he whispered. Leo rushed in, throwing many punches. It looked like he might win just by doing more. But those who knew fighting could see, Sylvester wasn't losing. He was learning. He watched Leo's moves. He waited. Then, when Leo threw a wide punch, Sylvester moved. Calmly. He stepped in and gave one palm strike to Leo's chest. Not hard. Just perfect. Leo staggered back. He couldn't breathe. His eyes went wide. He was feeling something new. Sylvester didn't follow him. He just stood ready, waiting again. That, Marcus said, is power from perfect form, not big muscles. Leo's face changed. No more smiles. Just focus. He moved more carefully now. He wasn't trying to win anymore. He was trying to learn. The two fighters moved like a dance. Leo worked harder. Sylvester stayed calm. Then Leo made a mistake. He tried a big punch. Sylvester blocked, moved, and hit Leo's jaw. Leo's head snapped back. He stumbled. He touched his lip and saw blood. "Lucky shot," he muttered. Sylvester didn't say anything. He stood still. His body said, "I'm ready when you are." The crowd was very quiet. Not bored. Not shocked. Just full of respect. Leo tried one last time. He rushed forward with all he had. Sylvester waited. Then, at the perfect moment, he moved. He blocked, turned, and hit Leo on the side of his head. It wasn't a hard hit, but it was perfect. Leo froze. His legs stopped working. He fell to the ground. Not with drama. Just quietly. Sylvester stepped back, hands up again. Calm. No one moved. Then everything started again. Medical staff ran in. Terry Bronson jumped into the ring. The crowd started to make noise again. Sylvester turned and walked away. The lesson was given. Whether Leo would learn it, that was up to him. 6 months later. In a small gym near Sacramento, Leo was punching a heavy bag. His moves were clean. No show. Just work. No cameras. No fans. Just the sound of punches and breathing. Terry Bronson watched quietly. Leo had changed. Not just outside. Inside too. "Time," Terry Bronson said. Leo stopped. He breathed evenly. He unwrapped his hands slowly, with care. "Your punches are better now," Terry Bronson said. "You waste less movement." Leo nodded. No pride. Just focus. "I'm still dropping my right hand after the hook." "You noticed," Terry Bronson said with a smile. "That's progress too." They walked to a small office. No trophies. No posters. On the desk was a cream-colored envelope. Ram's name was written by hand on the front of an envelope. "It came this morning," said Terry Bronson, pointing at it. "A delivery person brought it." Leo picked up the envelope. He knew right away it was important. It had been 6 months since the big fight at the Iron Circle, the night that changed everything for him. For 6 months, he stayed away from the spotlight. He said no to interviews. He worked hard on his skills, and on how he saw things. Inside the envelope was a short note. The handwriting was strong and neat. "Mr. Morales, if you still want a real fight, I'll be at Warriors Path Dojo in San Bernardino this Saturday at 10 a.m. No cameras. No crowd. No lights. Just the reason we do this. Your coach knows the place. Sylvester Stallone." Leo gave the letter to Terry Bronson, who read it slowly and nodded. "That's the old circle of Masters Dojo," Terry Bronson said. "A special place for real martial artists." "No cameras?" Leo asked. "No audience." "Does that surprise you?" Terry Bronson asked. Leo thought for a moment. 6 months ago, yes, he said. Now? No. It makes perfect sense. Saturday morning came. The sky was clear and cool. The Warriors Path Dojo looked like a quiet old warehouse. It had plain wooden doors, hardly any windows, and no signs or posters. "This place has history," Terry Bronson said as they grabbed their gear. "Some of the best martial artists trained here." Inside, the floor was shiny wood. The walls were white. There were no decorations, just calligraphy and old black and white photos of great teachers. Sunlight came through the high windows, making patterns on the floor. In the middle of the dojo stood Sylvester Stallone. He wore a plain white uniform. He was over 70 years old, but he stood tall, not stiff, just calm and balanced. He was doing slow martial arts moves with perfect control. Leo stopped at the edge of the floor. He took off his shoes and stepped in. Terry Bronson stayed by the door, knowing this moment was only for the two of them. Sylvester finished his moves and turned. He gave a small bow. A bow of respect. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Morales," he said. "Thank you for inviting me," Leo answered. His voice was honest and respectful. For the next hour, they trained together. They were not fighting each other. They were sharing what they knew. They started with footwork. Then they moved on to timing, then to punches and kicks. At last, they did some light sparring. This was not like the angry fight they once had. This was calm and full of respect. Like two artists working together. After a great exchange, They took a break for water. Leo wiped his face. He had a question, one he had wondered about for 6 months. "Can I ask you something?" Sylvester nodded. "That night at the Iron Circle," Leo said, "you could have embarrassed me badly. Why didn't you?" Sylvester thought carefully. "Because the point of a lesson isn't to crush someone," he said. "It's to help them grow." Leo thought about that. He nodded slowly. "I've been angry for months. Not at you, at myself. For not seeing what I needed to see." "Realizing you were blind," Sylvester said, "is the first step to seeing clearly." They went back to training, now moving more easily together, like a quiet conversation through their movements. There was beauty in the way they moved, like a dance of two people who respected each other deeply. After 2 hours, Sylvester gave a small sign. They were done. Both men were tired and sweating. "Your progress is clear," Sylvester said. "Not just in your skills." "I had good teachers," Leo said, looking toward Terry Bronson. "Once I was ready to listen." Sylvester nodded. "The offer still stands, if you want it." Leo looked at him, unsure what he meant. "The official fight," Sylvester explained. "If that's what you still want." Leo didn't answer right away. He thought deeply. The old Leo would have said yes fast, for the money, the fame, the chance to prove himself. But the Leo standing here today felt different. "I think," he said, "doing that would miss the point of these 6 months." Sylvester's eyes showed a hint of approval. "Explain." "Fighting you before was about my ego," Leo said. "Training with you today was about learning and growing. Going back to the show after feeling this would be a step backward." The dojo grew quiet again. The moment felt big. Terry Bronson watched from the side, proud. "There are other ways to share what you've learned," Sylvester said. "If you want to." Weeks passed. The fighting world buzzed with talk. Where was Leo? What happened? Then, out of nowhere, a video popped up on Leo's old accounts. No music. No lights. Just Leo sitting in a small gym in Sacramento. "6 months ago," he said softly, "I thought fighting was about showing power. About proving something. But I was wrong." The video showed quick clips, the old fight, then new scenes. Leo taught kids, helped veterans, and worked with young people who needed guidance. "I'm leaving pro fighting," he said. "Not because I can't win, but because I found something more important." The last shot showed Leo and Terry Bronson in front of a small dojo. The sign read, "Fundamentals First." This new dojo wasn't about winning trophies. It was about helping people grow through martial arts. Far away, in San Bernardino, Sylvester Stallone watched the video. He and a boy named Ben watched it on a tablet. "Do you think he really means it?" Ben asked. Sylvester put the tablet down. "Time will tell," he said. "But knowing the right path is the first step to walking it." "You could have made a rematch," Ben said. "It would have made a lot of money." Sylvester smiled. "Some things are more important than money." "Like what?" "Like knowing that silence can be louder than any punch." 1 year later, sunlight came through the windows of Fundamental's first dojo. It had become a peaceful, helpful place. No loud ads, no big signs. It was known for doing real good work. It had classes for everyone: kids, veterans, people who had been hurt. Leo walked among his students. He helped them kindly. You could see the change in him, in how he moved, how he listened, how he cared. Terry Bronson watched from his little office above the floor. He didn't teach much anymore, but he still gave heart to the dojo. The door chimed. A woman named Maya Lin walked in. She worked for a magazine about martial arts. "Terry Bronson," she said. "I'm here for that story about your dojo's first birthday." "Leo's finishing a class," Terry Bronson said. "He'll be with you soon." Maya looked at the training. "It's different than I thought," she said. "I thought it was just for show. But it's real." "You weren't the only one who thought that," Terry Bronson said. "Old reputations are hard to change." She watched Leo help a teen who was struggling. "I've talked to many students. He's made a big difference." Terry Bronson nodded. "Sometimes, the best gifts come from the worst moments, if we learn from them." For the next hour, Terry Bronson told her the whole story. What happened that night. The struggles after. The change inside Leo, from needing fame to finding meaning. The hardest part wasn't the body, Terry Bronson said. It was realizing that success alone felt empty. And Sylvester Stallone? Maya asked. Did he help? More than most people know, Terry Bronson said. After that quiet session, Sylvester became a mentor. Not every day, but enough to guide Leo in the right way. I didn't know they kept in touch. Most people didn't. And that's the point. Their talk was interrupted by a knock. Leo came in, towel around his neck. "Ms. Lin," he said. "Nice to see you again." "Almost a year," she said. "You've been hard to find." "On purpose," Leo smiled. She looked at both men. "There's more to this story than you've shared, isn't there?" Leo thought, then pointed. "Let me show you something." He took her to a small corner of the dojo. On the wall was a letter and a photo, Sylvester and Leo sitting quietly in their training clothes. "That photo," Leo said, "was taken 3 months after our training. He invited me into a small group of students. Not to fight, but to keep the old martial arts ways alive." "He kept teaching you?" "Not just teaching. We learned from each other. And this dojo, it was his idea. He believed I had something to give. Not just skills, but my journey, from being lost to finding what matters." "Why keep it a secret?" she asked. "This story would be so big online." "That's why we kept it private," Leo said. "Once you make it a show, it stops being real. This place," he said, "isn't for likes or followers. It's a home for people who want something real." The door chimed again. A group of veterans came in for their class. Terry Bronson left to greet them. "I should go," Maya said. "Thank you for telling me all this. It changes the story I'll write." "How?" "I came to write about change," she said. "But I think this is about sharing. How wisdom and values are passed from one person to the next, sometimes in surprising ways." She paused before leaving. "One last question. That night when you challenged Sylvester, do you think he planned everything?" Leo thought. "I've wondered that too. I don't think he made it all happen. But I think he saw the moment for what it was. A chance for a lesson words couldn't teach." "And what was the lesson?"
"That real power," Leo said, "isn't about beating others. It's about knowing yourself. And that learning never ends." Later that night, in Texas, Sylvester Stallone hung up the phone. He had just spoken to Leo. "Dojo's doing well," he told Ben, who looked up from reading. "You were right about him," Ben said. Sylvester smiled. "Sometimes people just need to be reminded of who they are, not who they pretend to be." "Think he'll ever fight again?" "Maybe," Sylvester said. "But if he does, it'll be for better reasons." Outside, the sun was setting in bright colors. Sylvester watched it quietly. No noise, no show, just beauty. Because real strength is quiet. It doesn't need to shout. It just is. Enjoyed the story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I always love chatting with you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you won't miss the next wild ride. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, stay curious and keep the adventure alive.